Well, hello. It has been a while. I'll try not to hit the table too much because it bounces my whole setup. Currently, my it's not even really a tripod, but my thing that holds my phone is that I'm filming this with is stacked on my laptop, Super Mario Monopoly, and a Webster's Dictionary. So I will try not to bounce or bump the table. Let's see. I think also if you hear my dog like kind of woofing in the background, she's in the garage right now, and we've got a little kennel. Normally she's kind of has free range of like the garage and into the yard because she's got like a dog door, obviously through the garage out to the backyard. But her kennel's also usually open into the garage, and currently her kennel is closed, so she's upset about this. But we just don't want her. I don't want her to run away when my husband comes home and opens the garage door. So anyway, so she's woofing because she's annoyed by this. I'm also wearing blue light glasses. I could probably take them off, but I just have them on. I keep bumping the table already. Anyway, it's been a while since I have filmed. Obviously, I don't really make a lot of YouTube videos, so I just kind of make them whenever the mood strikes me or, whatever. I have an idea for one or two that I'd like to make eventually, but it's just I kind of make them when I get to them. Also, I am always looking at myself in the video instead of in the actual camera, so forgive me for that. I will try to be better. I've got my coffee. It is almost gone, which makes me sad, but that is all right. It's been an interesting, my last video was when I was making my writing nook, I think, in our hall closet back there. And it's currently a little messy, so I need to clean that up, but it's been really nice to have, so I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, just a couple updates. I think before that, my last video was on my planner woes around Christmas time. So it is now almost the end of August of 2023 at the time I'm making this video. It is August 27th. And so we are 1 week away from September, which is crazy. So when I made that last, planner video back in, I think it was December, I was struggling with deciding which planner I wanted to use. And I think I talked a little bit about like my planner history, I guess. And this year has been a much better year for me with regards to planners and planner decisions. I've still purchased a couple that I ended up not using. I think at the very beginning of the year, I really wanted to try a Hobonichi, and I didn't because it was just too close to the start of the year. And I'm very, it depends, but a lot of times I really want to start a new planner when it starts. I don't like to have those wasted pages in there. They're nice for extra note pages, like I can cover them up, but then if I end up really liking it, my thought process is, well, then I'm not going to have those extra pages to use for what I was using them for. Anyway, it's ridiculous. But point of the story is I decided not to get a Hobonichi because I knew it wouldn't get to me in time, because this was like the week before January 1st, and I had no idea what planner I was using, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that. I might have to look back at the video. But anyway, I talked a little bit about my struggle with discs and how I had my two. At that time, the two planners that I'd used the most, or rather the longest, was a mixed media book that I made myself, and I used it kind of as a daily planner, planner/journal, and then also a passion planner that I'd gotten last year. It was my first passion planner. I got it in the academic adventure green. It was an academic year, obviously. And I used that consistently for like 3 months, which was huge for me. And then I even went back to it this last year, I think twice. I ended up kind of popping back into it from time to time because I just really missed it and I loved the way it felt. So anyway, fast forward to now. I did try one other planner, the My Brilliant Writing Year Planner. I had tried that last year. I liked the idea of it, but it didn't fully work for me. And then I tried it again this year, and it just didn't do it for me. So, and I also tried going back to Happy Planner again as well. But again, discs overwhelm me. I get too overwhelmed by all of the accessories with Happy Planner, and it becomes too much. So what I did was what I've now been using for the last three months, almost 4 months now, is a Hobonichi. Sorry for the glare. This is a Hobonichi Techo Cousin. And normally, I don't know if it'll be backwards or not in the video. I still really want to get, because I like watching like Plan With Me's and things like that. I don't watch them as much as I used to. One, because I'm trying to avoid like consumerism mindset and all that, but also I just don't watch them as much as I used to, but I do really enjoy them when I have some downtime. They're fun I like to set up my planner while I'm listening to someone else set up theirs. It's just kind of it's fun. If you watch those kind of videos, you know what I mean. Anyway, so right now I'll just kind of show it like this, but maybe eventually I'll do like a above shot like flip through video, because I do really like those kinds of videos, and I think that would be better. So hopefully this isn't backwards, but I guess it doesn't really matter because I'm just showing you. So I got an A5 Hobonichi. I got the April start date because I started this in May, just like maybe 2 weeks after Pascha. If I remember correctly, Pascha was April 16th this year. And so I had always been, just a couple things really quick. I had always been I'll talk about that in a second, but obviously I waited almost 5 months to get this, even though I had initially thought maybe I should try it starting in January, but I decided not to. And then I ended up giving it a whirl, and I'm so, so glad that I did. I love it. I don't know if I can ever go back to not using a Hobonichi in some capacity. And I'll explain in a second. But so one of the things that I'd always really struggled with regards to planners was simply the fact that I hated planners ever since I used the Passion Planner. And I found a planner where you could actually have a Sunday monthly start with a Sunday weekly start as well. I was like all over that because I'd always been very big on like Sunday. There's my dog barking. I should probably go let her free. But again, I don't want her to run out when my husband gets home. Anyway, so I probably, what was I saying? Oh, so I'm a very like, first of all, it just doesn't make any sense. I used to use planners like that because in America, that's how all of the planners are, right? Like it's a Sunday monthly start and the week starts on Monday. It makes no sense. It is so confusing to me now, and it just boggles my mind that that's how I used to function. It drives me crazy. I cannot use a planner now where the week doesn't start on the same day as the month. And that was another reason that I was really hesitant about getting the Hobonichi, because it's a Japanese planner and it starts on Monday. I do think they have a Sunday start one now, maybe, but I still think it's only, I could be wrong, but I think it's only the month that starts on Sunday. Don't quote me on that. But I do think they will occasionally now have a Sunday start. I don't know though. I feel like they do have a Sunday start one of their planners, but again, don't quote me on that. Anyway, it is a Monday start. And I was a little bit like, I used to be really big on, as an Orthodox Christian, and just as a Christian in general, but as an Orthodox Christian, it's like, no, Sunday's the first day of the week. Like Sunday starts the week. I want a Sunday start calendar, a weekly planner as well. And so that's why I'd like the Passion Planner, because I had that option to get a Sunday and a Sunday start. But then I listened to I want to say it was a New Year podcast from Father Thomas Hopko of blessed memory, who talked about Sunday and how, because Sunday is the day of the resurrection, and as Orthodox Christians, we're constantly not only living in remembrance of Sunday, but also in anticipation for Sunday. And that just blew my mind. I know it sounds so simple, but like to me, it just blew, sorry, I'm looking at myself again instead of in the camera. It just blew my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, in that one comment he made in his homily, or talk, I don't remember if it was a podcast or a homily, but it was a recording of Father Thomas Hopko. And he said that, and I was like, what? Duh, like, of course. So now I'm like, so that really kind of freed me up mentally to be okay with a Monday start planner if I ever needed it, right? I was like, okay, I can handle that now. If the month starts on, or if the week starts on Monday, I can just view it as I'm anticipating Sunday. So I'm like, all right, I can work with that. Well then, so not only that, but then I had always been under the impression as an Orthodox convert that the church New Year starts on September 1st, which it does. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, I just want my calendars to start in September. Like, I wish I had it, there is an Orthodox planner company, Perusia Press. I like them a lot, but I can't, their layout doesn't work for me mentally. So I can't use, I think I've purchased one of their planners or used a PDF of it, in some capacity since they released their first planner, but I just can't do it. I've tried. I really, 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 really want to use an Orthodox planner. I love the idea of it, but it always bugs me because, granted, they always started on Sunday, but it always bothered me because I couldn't start it in September. It was an Orthodox calendar, and I'm like, shouldn't it start on September 1st? It drove me crazy. I just mentally, again, I'm weird with stuff like that. Anyway. But then I was always thinking, well, I'll just get an undated calendar. And so I had even thought to get the undated Passion Planner and start it in September for my own use. And then I'm like, I can have it start in September and it can be a Sunday start. Boom, we're done. All is well. However, I didn't like that. Well, that actually doesn't even really matter anymore because I'm using the Hobonichi. I was gonna say I didn't really like at the time the thought of all of the months being grouped together at the front and then all of the weeks afterwards, because this is so dumb, but I'm like, I can't use tabs properly. I'm gonna have to tab the weeks instead of the months, and that'll throw me off. It's very dumb, I realize that, but it's just how, I know rationally it's a silly thing, but for me it's just one of those, I don't know if it's my ADHD, I don't know if it's just the way I am, I don't know. But I don't know if it's just silly and I need to get over it. It could just be that too. But regardless, but now the Hobonichi I've been using for 3 months, and it's set up like that where all of the months are together, all of the weeks are together, and all of the dailies are together. I guess that should be backwards if I'm backwards. I don't know. You know what I mean. Anyway, so I'm just giving you all of this background for whoever might care. If you've skipped over this or just stopped watching the video, I understand. But I enjoy videos like this that are just kind of chatty and whatever. So, anyway, so that fixed an issue. Well, I didn't even answer the September thing. So then around Pascha time, my priest was giving a homily and talked about how at Pascha, everything in the church calendar, in the sense of the tones we're in each week and everything resets at Pascha. And I'm like, what? I thought it starts at September 1st. And I asked my priest about this, and he was like, first of all, there's already multiple calendars within the Orthodox Church. So what's one more calendar? But he's like, yeah, technically Pascha resets everything. Pascha is the start in a lot of ways. September 1st is the beginning of the new ecclesiastical year, but Pascha resets that again. So, it's just one of those other random things about Orthodoxy that is like, oh, okay. So anyway, that was huge for me because even though I did not have a planner at that time around Pascha. I was not using one consistently. I felt all over the place. I felt very disorganized. I didn't have anything. I was forgetting things. I had some things written in a happy planner, some things written on a note paper, some things, it was just all over the place. So that, because I knew that Hobonichi had an April start, so that's kind of if I remember correctly, please forgive me if I'm wrong on this, but they have a January start and an April start, because I believe their academic year starts in April in Japan. I don't know. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I feel like I heard. So anyway, they have an April start, a spring start. And I was like, I'm gonna do that. So my husband was so kind and he let me order an early Mother's Day present this year, and it was the Hobonichi Techo A5 cousin. And I obviously I got the cover, the cover for it, and then the cover on cover, to put on this, and then I got a little cover for the actual Hobonichi itself. And my initial goal with this was to use it as a planner, a journal, and kind of everything. I even thought that I could use it as a wallet and just make this my everything book. Well, first of all, I loved it. Day one, I was just like, where has this been all my life? Almost to the point of regretting having not just gotten one of these 7 years ago when I first started like decorative planning and first got into all of that. And I just am like, oh my gosh, where has this been all my life? I could have years of just memories and stuff stored in one simple book. Like it just would have made everything, anyway, neither here nor there. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? So anyway, I just instantly fell in love. It was the paper I love. I've been using Bible paper, obviously, in my Bible for years, and I love, and not that this is Bible paper, but the Tomoe River paper is very similar to the texture and sound and feeling of Bible paper, and of like the thin, Bible paper. So I love writing in it. I have no qualms with that paper. I love it. I love that it's the entire year, monthly, weekly, and dailies. It's a magic planner. I love it so much. Anyway, but after a while of using it, I found that I was running out of room, and I'm almost at 16 minutes, and this was supposed to be like a random life update, and I am just talking about planners, forgive me. Anyway, after using this for maybe like a month or two, well, I've been using it for almost 4 months, so it must have been after a month, because then I very quickly was like, this, I think, works, like this is a journal and a planner, but I needed more room. I was just really struggling with like also having my quiet time notes in it. Yeah, I would journal during my quiet time, but also like if I wanted to take notes from the scripture, the daily readings that day, or if I wanted to, write, make some notes from a devotional book I was reading or whatever, I just was finding that I didn't have the room for that. Come into play the Hobonichi A6 Techo, which is the same book except for it is smaller. Obviously, it's A6 instead of A5. It also does not have the weeks in it. It's just the months and the days. So this was what I got for my, I didn't decorate the cover as much. I just used a couple little stickers. But I also got the spring date for that, even though I was now like a month into the year. I think I started using it, in June was when I started using this. And I started using this one in May. So it was about a month, maybe 6 weeks. Anyway, so I started using this for my morning time. I would still journal in here, but this started being kind of like a prayer book. I started using my, I would write like gratitude on the monthlies, like in the little days. There's not a lot of space, but because I think maybe I had mentioned in a previous video, my husband had gotten me a 3-year gratitude journal, and I back in 2020 for my birthday, and I filled that whole thing up. I never missed a day, and if I did, I always went back and filled it in. So I loved doing that. And then again, for a big chunk of this year, I just didn't, since March until I got this in June, I didn't have one, and it was weird not having a gratitude, like keeping gratitude that way, because I wanted like a separate thing for it, I guess. Anyway, so I keep my gratitude in the monthlies on this, and then I just do like the daily readings. And obviously I've covered up a lot of pages because I didn't need them for the sake of, because I started in June, so I just made extra note pages with them. My cover on cover is ripping because I would keep my little red prayer book in the back pocket like this, and I still do, to be honest. But I need to get a new, so I would like slide it in the back pocket there, because it was a prayer book, right? And so like I'll take homily notes in here too, like on Sundays. And so obviously that has stretched it out and ripped it now. So I want to get a new cover on cover for this, and then just, I guess, not keep this in there. I do find that I always am taking this out for like my morning prayers, when really I'd love to use this. I'd love to like take the prayers from my prayer rule and just like copy and paste them, or write them down in here, and then just have this for my prayer book in general. That's what I think I'd like to do, because honestly, a huge chunk of this is the Divine Liturgy, so I don't even use it, like I just flip to the prayers I use regularly. So that's, I think, what I'm going to do, is like maybe make some copies of the prayers that I use and just stick them in here. Anyway, so now I use these two books, right? So this was my planner journal and my, what is this? Prayer book. Prayer book and just scripture writing. So then I was happy with just having this as my planner and journal. The issue soon became, though, that I was struggling to use this as a planner for my writing and stuff. It was kind of just becoming a journal and a memory keeper too. That has been very fun for me also, keeping like movie tickets that we go to and stuff from trips that we've taken a couple trips this year. And anyway, so I've really loved doing that. But for writing, I have a sticker on there, Write Your Way Out of the Dark. I think I got that from an Etsy shop called Bibliofox. Anyway, this sticker also, creator of the universe bless the cycle of this year, I got that from an Etsy shop called This and That Homestead. Anyway, so I was finding that I was having a hard time using this functionally as a planner. They have the weekly pages in here, and I'm like, I could just use the weeklies as my planner and the dailies as my journaling, and that would make sense, but I don't make a lot of sense. So and in all reality, I was really struggling to figure out how to plan my writing projects and my writing business. It's not a writing business, but you know what I mean, like the work of my writing. I was having a hard time figuring out how to do that in here functionally while also planning life and everything. And the thing is, it would work. Like, there's room for it in here, but I just was having a very hard time, because that's always been a struggle I've had. Is I am both someone who needs everything to be separated, to be compartmentalized, but I also, if I get too many books, it's too much for me. And so that's why I used to really like a traveler's notebook. The idea of a traveler's notebook, because I could have everything compartmentalized but in one place, but it would become overwhelming for me because there were too many moving parts. Same with Happy Planner and disc bound. I would struggle with it. So my husband allowed me to make one final financial purchase for planners this year, and that was and I should just note, I am still actively using these, which is huge for me, right? Like, I'm actively in both of these every day. I love them. I use them regularly. They're part of my day. Like, I look forward to using them every day. So these are still very much in use, but now I've added a separate actual, just my planner. And it is for households to, I didn't even mention, that was, hold on, that was the other thing. So I also got at one point, because I did not have a wallet I was using, and I found that I was really struggling. I was writing like shopping lists, and I would leave them at home. I was writing, I would be out on the go, and I'd be maybe at church, and I didn't have a planner with me, because then I would only have this. And then someone would say, hey, are you free to do a play date here? Are you free to help out with this thing or whatever? And I just would say yes, and I didn't have my calendar in front of me. And so I was like, honey, I need like a wallet thing. I need something for on the go. So then he let me my husband was so great. There's nothing that you can see on this, but I got the Moterm. I'm just going to cover it like it's my like cards and stuff. But I got the Hobonichi Weeks. And my son gave me a flower, and I stuck it in here. I got a Hobonichi Weeks that I started in July. So May, June, July, and I use this every day. Again, this has been great because I can keep quick track of what, if I'm out, I've used it for doctor's appointments that I've been at, and then when we schedule the next appointment, I can just put it in here. It's so convenient, and I've never had that before. And so that's great. And then I can also write my list. I just write my shopping list directly in here. So I just never have to think about it. It's been, for me, so that's the other thing too. I'm now using 3 versions of the Hobonichi, but I'm using them regularly every day, all day. And it looks like a lot, like it's a big stack, but it's not. Like, for me, this is the most organized I've ever been. And it's just been so mentally freeing. I just am so happy with this. Anyway, so that's that. And even though that's 3 things that I've bought, and a few more things if you count the covers and stuff, so it might seem a little consumery, and I'm not denying that, but I'm also like, I've spent so much less money on planners this year than I have in past years, and just even being content with them is such a new feeling for me, and I love it. I feel like this is what I'll just use, and I'll just get the next April starts when they come in. recently it's been like it's Hobonichi season right now because everything releases September 1st. So they've been like showing the new ones. And I had a brief moment where I was like, do I want to get January start ones? And I'm like, no, I'm content with this. Like, this is working. And I want to finish the books. Like, anyway, so it's great. I'm loving it. It's great. So that's the 3 Hobonichis I'm using. It seems like a lot, but again, they all serve a purpose. And I should say too, if you're familiar with the Hobonichi, the months in here I'm now using as wellness trackers. That's another thing recently. I did finally start back on medication just a few weeks ago, and it has been life-changing. So I'm tracking when I take my medicine. And I'm also, in the weeks, I'm now using those in the weekly part. I'm now using that for more like creative, I haven't fully figured out. I've tried a few different things. So like one day I wrote about how I was feeling creatively. Another day, just in the weekly section. Another day, I think I wrote some book notes from a creative book I was reading or something. I can't really remember, but I'm still trying to work out how I'm going to use the weeklies in this now. But it is, it's working for me so well. So I'm very, very happy with those. Okay, so then my husband let me purchase one more planner that is my work planner, so to speak, right? And because here's the thing too, and this is, I'll wrap up the video here soon, but about 3 weeks ago now, my son started his 3rd grade year just this last week. We are now no longer homeschoolers. We are now schoolers at home. He is doing an online virtual school now. I needed to outsource something. With homemaking, sorry, I'm shaking the table, with homemaking, homeschooling, and then trying to also work towards indie publishing. That was three main focal points of my life, and I only have 2 hands. Like, I couldn't do it. I was also completely out of whack routine-wise. A huge reason for that has been not being on medicine. That I can now look back and see that was a huge reason for it. But even so, it was just, I did not want my son has been doing really well academically, even with me as his teacher, by the grace of God. But that being said, I just didn't want to go another year where we were inconsistent with how we homeschooled. So we decided 2 weeks before the start of the school year for the online virtual public school that's what he would be doing. And I like hurried to get everything. And my son was really excited for it too. He liked the idea of having like students online with him that he could talk to and a teacher online that he could talk to. He really liked that idea. So we just rambled together. I feel like there's a word I'm not using correctly, but there's a word that we just like scrambled. That's the one. We scrambled together and got all of the stuff we needed to submit for his enrollment, and we just did it all within like less than a week. And I was like stressed that he wasn't gonna get accepted, like that he wasn't gonna be able to start I knew he'd be accepted, but I was like, gosh, I don't want him to have to start like a week late or a couple days late. Then we're already behind. Like I want him to start on the day that school starts. And thank God he was able to. Everything got worked out. We got all of his stuff in before it started. And I'm so grateful for that. So we started that officially last week. And it has been, in just even 1 week's time, just a complete and utter, in all the best ways, change for us. It's just been, the sense of routine and rhythm it's given to our days has been incredible. Being able to, I feel more focused with helping him, because obviously if you've ever done online school, if you're familiar with it, like the parent still is very involved. I'm still very involved in it, but I feel so free to, when I'm with him for school, to focus on that. I'm not trying, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just not having to do the curriculum myself. Sorry, I keep bumping it. Maybe it's just not having to figure out what he's doing or what he needs to be learning on my own. And I'm very pro homeschool, don't get me wrong. It was hard. It was kind of a hard decision at first because I have a lot of opinions about public school and a lot of opinions about homeschool. And I felt like by doing this, I was going against both sets of those opinions, right? And I just kind of had to swallow my pride because it was what I knew we needed. And I'm so glad. I'm just so grateful that we did this. I'm so grateful because it's great. It's so wonderful. And I just don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about the curriculum. I just do the work. I do the work with him. Like what I'm supposed to do as his learning coach, like I sit there with him and just I do get a kick out of like, you're the learning coach. I'm like, well, I'm just his mom. Like, I don't really know, but okay. But like getting to just work with him and stuff, I just feel so much more focused during that time. And I feel like I can give him my full attention. And I've noticed in even a week how it's even affected our relationship as, like I just really enjoy it. And so, and between that and being on medicine, I've been able, my kitchen looks a little cluttered right now, but I've been able to organize and keep my house, clean enough, which is, our standard of clean. It's been incredible. And I think, of course I thank the Lord for that, but on that note too, like medicine has helped me and, again, swallowing my pride and just getting back on medicine and swallowing my pride and just doing school, virtual public school. I had to accept that I needed help. And it's been huge. It's been huge for me. So, all right, we're at 31 minutes. So that's been good. And all of that to say now, my 2 focal points, even though I still am doing the school at home with him, I don't feel like I have to think about it. I don't feel like I have to plan for it other than just putting it in my schedule that like I need to have this time set aside to help him with his schoolwork. Boom, that's it. So that's been fantastic. And all of that to say, my husband let me basically get what is a work planner, but also just my basic planner. I use the Hobonichi weeks for quick things when we're on the go. Jotting down lists, jotting down appointments when I'm on the go, quick things that I need to remember. So this has been awesome. But in terms of my actual planner that I'm working in every day, sorry, I think I hear my dog barking again. I'm almost done. Doing my schedule, doing my writing projects, scheduling in appointments, and seeing how much time I actually have each week to work with. Because one thing I also realized was and that was why I also really like the Hobonichi. The Hobonichi Weeks is a vertical planner. It goes this way in the sense of like it's all, if you've ever, here, I'll flip to, it's like this. So you've got your days all listed here and then just a blank grid paper over here. Historically, this layout does not work for me very well. I also don't like horizontal planning because it just visually doesn't work for me. This has been working for me though because I'm not using it as my main planner. And honestly, to be quite honest, I am debating getting something for in here that's just a notebook that I can use for lists and things. Because I do find that I like having the planner in there. I don't necessarily need it, but I do think right now while I'm learning how to manage my time better, having the ability to look at my calendar while I'm out and about, because I do not use calendar on my phone, this has been really helpful. So anyway, but I need not only do I need vertical planning where it's like the weeks just laid out vertically across the 2 pages, but I also need timestamps. I cannot, just having a big column or even like columns broken up into 3 parts does nothing for me time-wise. I already struggle with time blindness and knowing how much time I'm actually going to have. Having the timestamps is so vital to me. So all of that said, I went back to an academic passion planner. This is the B5 size, the medium size. My husband was so wonderful and let me get this because now I have something and here was something new for me. All Hobonichis, the ones that I've purchased, are Monday starts. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Monday start monthly, Monday start weekly. I got a Monday start passion planner. So it is a Monday Start Monthly, a Monday Start Weekly. I felt very strange doing it, but it felt right at the same time because I need all of my planners and journal. I need them all to match. If they don't, sorry, I'm just moving stuff so it's shaking it. If they don't match on the calendar dates, it will throw me off and I won't be able to function. So Monday Start, and again, it's got the vertical days with the timestamps on them for every single day. It gives me, and because I don't have to think about planning homeschool, I've got personal to-dos and work to-dos, work being my writing. And so it's just been incredible. I've got all the blank pages in the back that I can use for project planning and things. And then I was able to cover up a few of the front pages just because this started in July and I started using it in August. So I just covered up a few of the July pages so that I could have some extra note pages, but I won't have to do that next year just because ideally I'm going to use this through June of next year, and then I'll just get the new academic planner, and I'm going to start the new one of this in April. And what's so nice about that too is it does still give me 2 different start dates because I need that sense of new. It's just, that is an ADHD thing. And so knowing that I can have, in April I get to start 2 new books or 3 new books if I decide to use a Hobonichi Weeks planner again. I might just do a notebook for lists and stuff, but we'll see. What would be great is if it was just the monthlies, because that would be helpful to just have the monthlies. But you know what I could do? I could just draw in my own monthlies. I could do that. If I just had the monthlies though in the note pages for lists and stuff, perfect. Anyway, so this is the academic 23-24 Passion Planner. I believe it's called Hollow Celestial or Holograph. What is it? It doesn't say. Celestial Holographic or something like that though. It's, I think gosh, what was it called? Dreams and, I don't remember. It supports an inner city youth education thing, like creative arts thing. I'm sorry, I should probably know that before I say it. But anyway, Dreams and Ducats, Dreams and Ducats. I think that's what it is. Dreams and Ducats. I'm probably saying that wrong. Anyway, that's what this is for. But I loved it. And I don't always go for holographic things, but the image on this though, like look, it's just, it's so beautiful. And I felt like it was very creative in the sense of just made me think of the universe and creation, and I loved it. So this is my work at home planner and basically my main planner for the remainder of this next year. And I'm just very, very happy. I would love to do a few plan with me's in the future in all of these. At the very least, some flip throughs. I'll just get to that though eventually. I'd love to, but because I like making those kinds of videos and watching them. I know not everybody does, but whatever. Yeah, so sorry this was just a really chatty video, but I guess I just kind of wanted to update on my mental health, my planner situation, my homeschool situation. And on top of all of this too, we finished my writing program, the St. Basil's Writers Workshop. I finished that. But we're still very involved online as a community. And I just feel like I am closer now. I've been working on a project now since February, a novella, and I really had wanted to have it published in October. I don't think that's gonna happen, but the fact is though, just being closer, I bumped it again. Just being closer to a dream that I've had since I was 7 years old. And whether, I don't know if it's a very orthodox thing to say, but really believing that this is something the Lord put in me to do, to just write and to create in that way. I'm that is something that I'm pursuing more actively, is a writing career, an independent publishing career. And so, yeah, that's just where I'm at right now. I just feel like I'm really grateful for where I'm at right now in this season of my life. And yeah, I'm just really grateful. So that is something. I don't necessarily think I'll ever make like writing videos specifically, but at the same time, I've thought about it. And one of the things I finally this year did, Sarah Cannon of Heart Breathings, she's here on YouTube. I finally did not only her HB90 boot camp, which is a week-long course, but I also did her 6-week-long course, Publish and Thrive, and that was life-changing, as well as St. Basil's. Doing both of those together, man, a lot has happened for me this year with regards to writing, and I'm just so grateful for it. And so, another thing, I ended up going back onto Instagram, technically also on Facebook, but just for writing. I've posted maybe 1 or 2 personal things on Instagram, but and Facebook, I just don't even use. That's just dumb. So I just honestly, I only really want Facebook for the Publish and Thrive writing group. That's really what I want it for. And I'm not even part of that because Facebook could deleted all my stuff. I don't know. It's weird. I just don't even care about it. But Instagram, though, I am back on that. I hate it. But it is from a quote unquote business standpoint. I know there's ways to do it without social media, but I just felt like for me it might be necessary. So I am technically back on Instagram. I don't particularly love it, but we'll see. We'll see. But so yeah, a lot of new things have happened in these last 8 months. And I am just grateful. I feel like I'm in a good place. I feel like I'm, I struggled spiritually the last year and a half, 2 years almost, and I feel like I'm doing better spiritually, and I just feel like I'm a lot more myself than I have been in recent years, and so I'm very grateful for that. And yeah, that's really all. It's really all I've got. So a lot of yeah, I'm just happy. So I'm thankful, and I'm feeling joyful. I'm feeling like I'm right where I need to be. So and I'm still learning how to take everything one day at a time, but it's just, I'm grateful. I don't know how many times I can say that. I guess I'm grateful. So I haven't drank my coffee in 42 minutes now, so I'm going to go warm it up and finish it. But yeah, I'm glad I got to make this and just had some time to make a quick update video. And like I said, I don't think I'll be making a lot of writing specific videos necessarily, but I am going here in a couple weeks. I am actually going on my own solo writing retreat. Our group from St. Basil's was not able to get together this year, so I decided to do my own little writing retreat. And so I'm thinking of maybe taking some footage while I'm there, and then when I get home, maybe putting together a little video of that. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. So anyway, I might do some things like that from time to time. I don't know though. We'll see. I just feel like I have a lot more mental freedom. I feel like I'm in a lot better place creatively now too. So, and I do like making videos when I make them. I just don't make them that much, and I don't really put too much into them other than me just chatting. I don't like to really edit if I can avoid it and things like that. So we'll see. But anyway, it's still fun to do things. I do like this kind of stuff. So anyway, my dog is barking. My coffee is cold. I'm going to head out. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and have a blessed day. Thanks. Bye.